All right, recording in progress. Okay, so thank you guys so much again for joining us on a Friday. Some of you it's like Friday morning, some of you it's Friday evening, and some of you Friday afternoon. So thank you so much for coming, and thank you, Ayn. Hi. TGIF. But yeah, thank you all so much for joining us. We're so grateful that you guys are showing such interest in, what we do. Uh, it still blows us away sometimes that people are, you know, interested to know. So thank you so much for spending time with us. But yeah, so let's get into it. So, okay, maybe Daniel, you can share your screen. Oh yeah, I think you try it. Share your screen. Okay, can you guys see? Just like give me a thumbs up if you do, and if you can. Right, you can see the screen. All right, cool. Okay, so just to let you guys know, okay, this is not like a bait and switch or anything. So I will be walking you guys through the basics first, and then I'll hand over the more interesting, the meat and potatoes part of this whole thing to Daniel later. Okay, so don't worry, he'll be there. He'll be sharing his secret sauce and whatnot. But I'll just walk you through, the basic stuff. Okay. So, okay, what is morphing? So basically, morphing would be a smooth transition of an object from one state to another. You can imagine it as like a circle transitioning into a square. But the difference between this transition is that you could see a smooth movement. It's not like a choppy thing, it's not like a flash thing, it's a smooth movement. So that's kind of how we would define morphing. Now, there are a couple of properties that actually break down morphing, basically like what actually consists in morphing. Okay, so there may be several, and there may be more, but for the sake of this project, we have three main ones for you guys that we'll talk about throughout the entire project. Okay, so the first property is scale. So as you can see here, from a square to like a rectangle, we're kind of scaling it into different sizes here. And then the next one is position. So moving an object from point A to point B is also one part of how you, basically another part or property of morphing. And then the third one is rotation. So rotating it in any way can consist of morphing. Okay. So just keep in mind these three properties first, because we will refer to this later down the road. So just a refresh, it's scale, position, and rotation. Okay, so just remember these three things. Now, okay, so illusion of morphing. So like I was talking about just now, about how the difference between morphing in Figma and morphing in AE, right, is that Figma has a ton of limitations when it comes to this sort of animation. It's not like built for this kind of animation, basically, right? It's more like a prototyping tool. So what we're creating here really is not morphing in its traditional form. Oh wait, you cannot see his screen? Can everybody else see? You have to, I think, click into something. Okay, cool. Okay, maybe you guys can help Chris figure that out while I continue. Okay. Okay, so basically what I'm trying to say here is that in Figma, we cannot have and cannot create the traditional form of morphing, so we have to create it in a way where it's actually an illusion of morphing. So it's morphing that's happening, but you're not using the traditional sense. Okay, let me explain. Okay, so for Figma, the main limitation of morphing is that you can't change its path. So if you've tried it on other sort of animation platforms, AE or whatnot, you are able to, take all the anchor points and move the anchor points exactly with this same object. But on Figma, it doesn't read the same way. It will kind of read it as a separate entity. So it completely separates it. So it doesn't actually work. So when you do that on Figma, what happens is that it will just fade in and out like this, which doesn't have much of an effect, right? So how do we actually fix this? How do we actually go about this? So what we do is we use masking. So we mask with a separate layer on top of this square to create that kind of like transitional morphing effect. So as you can see here, it's like you can see the way that the circles are forming instead of it fading in and out like this, right? This is like kind of choppy, right? But this one you can see that like, oh, it's really forming. So I'll show you what it actually looks like. So remember, like I said, how we'll refer back to the tree properties, right? So this one, we're really using position. So we're changing the position of these two brown triangles thingy to mask on top of the square here. So you can see clearly that they're moving from top and bottom into the center. So once you change this brown thing into the blue background, you will get that separation like this. So that's kind of like a little hack right there. Yeah. So one other example here is this swirly thingy. So this one we're using a separate technique. Okay, so as you can see here, if we change the path, it doesn't read, right? It's just like the paper is flipping. It doesn't do anything. But if we use frames, you'll get this like, you'll get a little shake from this piece of paper, you know, giving a little wobble here. And what it actually looks like is this. The white frame here represents frames in Figma. And then you basically have this entire shape living inside this frame. And then you align it to the top. And then for the bottom layer, you align it to the bottom. Okay, then once you play it, you'll get this swirling effect. So yeah, basically that is the basics, okay? So now some key tips that you can keep in mind when you're going into this is another three things. So one is make sure that all the same layers are present across variants. So I hope at this stage, like most of you here are familiar with components and variants, right? So I won't go into that now. But basically in your variants, just make sure that all the layers are the same. So if you have layer A on variant 1, you have that same layer A in variant 2. And then all the same layers have to have the same name. So let's say it's the layer in variant 1 is nose, the layer in variant 2 must be nose. It can't be like nose B or nose C or big nose, whatever, okay? Then lastly, layer sequence need to be the same. Okay, so basically if something is at the back, it must stay at the back. Otherwise, it will kind of just be a mess. Okay, maybe this will be clearer once I pass this over to Daniel. Then maybe when he builds it out, you can kind of see what it means. Okay, but just to recap, 6 things. 3 properties is scale, position, and rotation. And then 3 key tips, same layers, same name, and same sequence. Okay, got it? Can I get like a thumbs up from you guys before I move on, just to make sure it's all clear? All good? All right, let's go. Okay, I'll pass this time to Daniel.
All right. Okay, can you guys see this? Okay, yeah, so let's get right into the morphing monkeys. Okay, so basically how I've actually set this up, right? Because this is basically a symmetrical sort of like animation illustration. So what I did was I kind of split the screen into half and kind of just took this this half as like a component. So basically, as you can see in this component, this would be where the first monkey sits, and this is where the second monkey sits. So basically, what I did was I took the first component, put it in a frame, then after I flip it around to sort of create a mirror effect. And what I'll do with the second one, same thing, I'll put it in monkey B, align to the left, then after that duplicate it, then flip it, then align it, right? So basically, this is how it works when it comes to the next section. Okay, so let's just get right into it.
Yeah, but just to add on to this is it really depends on the illustration that you're doing here. But for us, we managed to we kind of decided on this because it's the fastest and easiest way to do it. And most straightforward as well. So it really depends on how your illustration goes, but this is a very straightforward method where you don't have to do double work.
Yeah,
basically.
but it's not like essential for all and morphing
Yeah.
animations. This is just like, you know, when it comes to symmetrical kind of
Yeah.
animation. Okay, all right. Okay, so basically, this is the first monkey, and this would be the second monkey. But you know, that's where I'm going to do the morphing. So I'm just going to duplicate this first monkey, put him in this frame. Okay, so this is the second variant here. Okay, so what I'll be doing, okay, I will start first at the bottom. Okay, so okay, I'll just scale down the ear. Okay, and I'll scale up the middle section of the ear. Okay, something like that. Okay, then I'll just lock the ear. Okay, just so that it doesn't like get in the way. Then I will just sort of like push body. Maybe rotate it a bit. This one also rotate it a bit. Because you want to create like something like that diamond shape, you know, in the second monkey. All right. Okay, that's for the body. Okay, then we can just lock it once we're done. Okay, then for the face, let's start with the bottom. Okay. So first things first, I will just like pull this up. All right. Okay, then I'll just lock it. Then, yeah, so basically there's this section of the nose that's kind of hidden behind this orange part. So that's when, you know, I will just bring this out. Maybe just rotate it a bit. Okay, the nose I can just leave it like this. And there's this sort of like eye patch at the back here, hidden behind this sort of like masking layer, the black masking layer here. So I'll just bring this out as well. Bring it down. Okay, something like that. Okay, then for the eye, just like scale it down. Okay, bump it up a bit, put some here. All right. Okay. Then for the forehead, I'll just leave it because the whole point of it is kind of just to mask whatever's under it. So yeah, we're good. Okay. Then for the cheeks, what I'll do is I'll kind of just scale it up. Basically, the cheek is kind of a frame here. So it acts like a mask in a way to hold everything, the lines and inside within this cheek area. I don't know whether you actually call it cheek, but yeah, for the sake of this tutorial, I'll just call it cheek.
If you guys are monkey experts.
Yeah, I'm no monkey expert here.
let us know.
Yeah, so I basically just scale it up, rotate it a little bit, something like that, and then just nudge it to the left. Okay, then you can also like sort of like play around with the lines inside, maybe to create an interesting effect. You can actually like sort of like just rotate it, maybe something like that. Then after that, you remove it, something like that, so that it kind of like create that dramatic effect, you know, when it comes out. Okay. The mouth, I can just like bring this part of the mouth down. Okay. Oh yeah, forgot the nose. Okay, so for the nose, sorry, the layers are it's actually nostril, so it's not like I can't spell nose. So just like drag it up, maybe like that. Okay. So if you notice all this while, I've just been using like the three sort of properties that we'll talk about. Which are like scale, rotation, and position. So I'm trying not to, you know, like use any path movements or anything like that. So yeah, it's just about these like basic properties here. Okay. So okay, done with the nose. Okay, lock it. Okay, then for this line here, I'll just like drag it down. Okay, just drag it down. This is basically a part of like scaling as well. Okay, all right. Then after that, okay, maybe you can just like check how a monkey looks. You know, sometimes it might look like totally like weird. Okay, look not bad, but yeah, maybe what we can do is sorry. What we can do is maybe you can bring the face maybe slightly lower, like that. And maybe I think yeah, the mouth sort of needs to move to the bottom a bit. Okay, so just like it. Oops, sorry. It's locked. Okay, have to unlock it. Move it to the bottom. Something like that. Okay, and this middle line, don't forget it, connect it here. Okay, so if we check everything, okay, maybe I think the body needs to be a little bit out, further left, something like that. Okay, and here maybe can move slightly to the left, something like that. Okay, let's check it again. Okay, looking closer to what I imagined, and maybe just bring this down, something like that. Okay, so let's just test the animation. See if it works. Okay, so I'm just gonna click. Ta-da! Yeah, so that's basically it, like in terms of how you kind of create layers to, you know, as in you just morph the layers using like just very fundamental sort of like position, rotation, and scaling. Yeah, so I mean, like some of you might be wondering, like, oh, you know, like, how do I actually go about this work process? You know, it's like it's not all the time where you actually know like how or what is like what you're going to morph it into. You know, so for example, like the monkey is it's more common that you wouldn't like guess that, oh, you know, I kind of need the mask at the top here to kind of block everything, you know, at the start of the process. So what you can do is, if just say in the case where okay, suddenly you were to add like a mask over here, like on the face here, mask. Yeah, just say you happen to add anything in this variant, you just make sure that you copy this variant and you drop it into this first variant as well. So like in this case, you can see that the face also has the forehead mask here. Just that you know you don't happen to see it in the first variant because it is kind of just like blended into the blackness of the body, right? So yeah, that's what I mean. So meaning that sometimes they might appear to be hidden or like appear to be like outside a frame or mask or something, but basically what's very, very important is that you make sure that all of the layers exist in the first variant, exist also in the second variant, and also their sequences and their naming are the same. So that then definitely your
Yeah.
work.
Wait, before that, like, so more people says that so much layer planning. Like, do you think you plan all the layers or like you kind of went as you go?
Oh, you guys should see like my first working file. Like okay, cause like in terms of comparing this and After Effects, After Effects is definitely like more efficient in terms of like, you know, you can just like push the path anywhere you want and it can just kind of do that, right? But the thing about Figma is that like I can very quickly test whether or not like a certain animation works. So meaning that like that's what I use it for. So meaning in the start my layers kind of, you know, it's just weird. Like I'll just name it weird, but it is just there for me to test it out. Then once I have concretized my idea of like what I want to morph it into, then that's when I kind of like make sure okay, now I know that, or I need a mask over here, or I need like this thing over here. Then I will kind of like just redo it everything again in a cleaner manner. Yeah.
Yeah. So meaning basically like even if you don't plan it at first, like you can just go ahead and start and then
Yeah.
just making sure that you paste any layers, the new layers from the second variant over to the first variant.
Yeah.
And then you can always clean it up later as well.
Yeah, and one like new technique that I learned is that, like, you know, for example, I don't know if you guys know about this, but if you click just it on the eye of this layer, you realize there's this like sort of like I don't know what it's called, like target or sniper kind of like icon. If you click on this, you will immediately select like the layer in the other variant of the eye as well. So this was really helpful actually in this whole process. But I didn't know about this back then when I did it. So yeah, like I actually did it the old school way where I kind of like have to make sure I dig through all the layers and everything to, you know, ensure that everything is in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you still have the working file?
Oh dear, no, I can't find it. Yeah, it's very messy.
Yeah, so not so much that you need a lot of planning. You can plan as you go, but if you can plan, then I think that's even better. But yeah, not to say like you need to plan before you start.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have other examples, right?
Yeah, you guys can like try, like maybe morphing like text as well. Yeah, just kind of did this earlier. Yeah, something like that. You can just use the same application. Basically, this is just like using like frames, uh, you know, position and masking in a way. Yeah, so just to inspire you guys, if there's any like ways to use these techniques. Yeah.
Yeah. So any questions?
Yeah, we'll share with you this file after this, then you can just like play with it and yeah, just use it for any reference.
Yeah. But yeah, any questions that we can help you answer? Because like that's kind of it actually. Justin asked how long did it take for you to figure it out?
It was really super random though. Like I don't know how long. It took me like a moment of kind of inspiration. Then the whole like copying the layer, pasting the layers, and the thing is like this is just between two monkeys, but if between three monkeys it gets like more complex because you have to make sure that all the layers that are present in three of the monkeys are the same and they are all sequenced the same. So that there is like another layer of complexity. So I think for this one, the execution of it took me a while to kind of find the right like movements for each of the monkeys. But yeah, I just thought one day like why not? I don't know. I don't know what made me thought of like doing monkeys, but it was just one night where I just did it.
Yeah. Yeah, good. But the original one had background as well. So
Yeah.
it's all the same thing, just a lot of like duplication, right?
Yeah, it's the same thing generally. Yeah.
Ruspa asked, like, does it work on vertex position rotation? What do you mean by that? Like, what sort of rotation?
Like what? Yeah, what I'm not sure. Vertex position. What do you mean by vertex? I don't know what vertex means.
Yeah.
What does vertex mean?
I'm not sure. I think he's explaining. While waiting, where can I find recordings from the previous sessions? It's all inside the channel events recording materials. You can go there. Okay, and then Zoe. A question for the alphabet transformation. Do you create the alphabet by several elements? It looks so smooth. Maybe you can share that also, the alphabet one.
Ah, I see.
Ruswa, okay, right now the entire object is moved. What if I change the shape of the object? Yeah, that's what we meant by the path thing. That won't work. Yeah, that wouldn't work if you change the shape. But you can scale it. So like if the ear is circular, you scale the ear down to a smaller ear, that will work. But if you change the shape of that object, it wouldn't work.
Yeah.
So you need to use masking in order to shape that object. Yeah, that's kind of what we were talking about earlier about the limitations of Figma.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, Nina, if the object outside the frame 1, will it be the same for the frame 2?
Sorry?
If the object outside the frame 1, will it be the same for the frame 2?
Outside frame
1. Which one do you mean? Like, what do you mean by object outside the frame 1? Which frame are you referring to?
Oh, you mean the leaves?
If you move the object outside frame 1 upwards on frame 2. You mean this in the setup or the prototype one? Like
Upwards.
what's frame 2?
Move the object upwards outside frame 1. I don't get it. Sorry, Nina.
For example, I put hands outside the frame 1, but on frame 2, they are available. Oh, you mean like you put it outside of the frame and then you want it to come in on the second frame, is it?
Ah,
To Aga, yes, we will share this and we'll also share the recording of this whole session.
okay, okay. I get what you mean. Okay, so I'll just like show. Okay, so I'll just make a super quick like leaf here. Okay, so assuming like this is the leaf. So basically, you can consider the frame as a big mask in a way. So what you can do is for this one, you can just kind of like, hide the leaf over here. Yeah, first thing first, you have to make sure that, okay, I just name this leaf, okay, just so that I don't like, doesn't go weird. So I just put this out of the frame. Then the second one, then I just bring it in. And maybe I can just rotate it, like that. So yeah, what you will be seeing now, something like that.
Yeah. Also remember, like all of these are actually using Smart Animate, not like any other function. So when you do your prototyping, just make sure you set it to Smart Animate, then it kind of does the job for you already.
Yeah, so yeah, just make sure that you have it on Smart Animate. Over here you have to put like custom bezier. Then yeah, you just basically, the knob is going to be like this when you come in. Then after that, you just have to drag it like that. And the bottom one, same thing, you just drag it like that. So you want something like an S shape, then it should work fine.
Yeah. Gummy Tummy asks, I'm curious what happens when there is a third monkey. A lot of things happen.
Yeah, the layers just go up. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like the same thing that's happening here, just like times 3. And then if you add another 4th monkey, then it times 4. So meaning that inside monkey 1, right, your variant 1 will have 4 different monkeys inside. Or rather, actually, inside every monkey, there's 4 different monkeys happening. But
Yeah.
only one monkey shows up in one frame.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Yeah.
So the rest of the monkeys are just kind of hiding somewhere.
Yeah. It's kind of
waiting to appear.
a Russian doll of layers inside every monkey. So everyone is inside there somewhere waiting to come out.
Yeah, but basically, I think the takeaway from this is that, even though it might appear like it's something complex, but it's actually just made up of a lot of, very basic sort of properties that you learn in animation, where it's just using, just positioning, the rotation, and the scaling. Super, back to old school basics.
Yeah. I mean, you guys can try it out, and then we can, if you have any questions when you're trying out, you can just pop a message. Justine asks, are these monkeys the most complex one you've done with this morphing technique?
I think more. I'm not sure actually.
Did you do other morphing techniques? Not really,
right? I did just that. It's not like, it's more like the person looks like he's turning, but it's not like,
yeah. But it's not really morphing. It looks like 3D, but it's not morphing. Yeah, that one's parallax, right?
But technically, it is kind of morphing as well.
Yeah. So maybe, yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Just waiting for you guys to type. Yeah, it really is like a Russian doll, basically. But it's like every Russian doll has another Russian doll, because everyone is still like living inside each other, just that they come out at different times. So yeah. Oh, Archan asked, was Sumatran tiger also made with this technique? No, right?
Sumatran tiger, not really, no. Yeah. Mostly parallax, I would say. Not exactly morphing. Yeah, I think it's not morphing.
Yeah, that one for parallax.
Hmm.
Rufwa asked, to implement it in a website, which format would you export it in front Figma?
Ooh.
I don't even know.
Oh, to be honest, I don't think like this is like developer friendly.
Yeah, I don't know. Would any of you like to, I don't know, right, Chan, do you think it's going to work if we export it for development.
I would think that like best if I just do it in After Effects and kind of just do it export as a Lottie
Yeah,
or something, I don't know. Unless the developer don't mind like actually animating it himself.
yeah, I don't know if that's practical
Yeah.
at all, but these are kind of just
It is there to kind of just like inspire the technique. Then for the application of it, you can kind of just like use it in other parts, you know.
yeah.
Yeah. So what's the takeaway here is like masking and
Yeah.
the fundamentals here.
I mean, it depends on the developer whether they feel like this could be a challenge they want to take on, but I really don't know. Like, yeah, if a developer would like to weigh in, feel free to do so.
Yeah, I need your help.
Yeah. Rufus says my designs get wasted as it never gets implemented. Yeah, unfortunately, it happens a lot
Mhm.
in general, so you're not alone. We feel you. It does happen for sure. But yeah, just like any relationship, gotta give and take. So, same thing here. Yeah, low skill on portfolio. I mean, like, you know, sometimes you kind of just have to push it, right? Like, in order for, I mean, I guess what we're trying to do here is to experiment, and then if the technology keeps up and it can work, then it can work, you know, but it doesn't mean that because the technology is not here yet, then we shouldn't do it, you know. Yeah, I mean, it's all just part of creating, you know what I mean? So
Mhm.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Nomis asked, how did she get inspired to come up with these?
I have no idea. I don't know. Sometimes I guess I'm just too bored. Like I just like I'm at home alone and I just, you know, stumble upon some colors on Pinterest and
I think like it started because we stumbled upon like a nice monkey illustration.
yeah,
Then it kind of started from there, and then like he just started asking me like, what other monkeys are there? Like, can you give me a monkey that's like nice to look at, that kind that looks dramatic? Like distinct features, monkey with a distinct feature.
yeah,
Yeah, and that's how it works.
yeah.
There's no like, how to say, I think we're the worst people to ask because like a lot of it is very random. We don't have like a method to like finding inspiration.
Yeah.
Libra asked, do you use Webflow in your work? No, we don't actually use, because we already have a lot on our plate. So that's why we didn't get into Webflow. But you know, whenever we need someone to do Webflow for us, we'll look for a Webflow developer to do it. Yeah, simply because we didn't want to like, you know, stretch ourselves to learn Webflow as well.
Mm.
Yeah, Justina, for all you know, it could, oh, okay, sorry. For all you know, it could be next time. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Yeah, thank you, Zoe. Like, I'm glad that today
Yeah,
was
thanks.
helpful. Like,
Thanks,
I
Zoe.
hope we didn't waste your Friday away.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you guys got any more questions, let us know. But otherwise, like, we would want to make this into another challenge for this two weeks maybe, for you guys to test it out, and then at least, you know, once you try it out, if you have any questions, we would be happy to help you answer them. Yeah, you know, just try it out. You can try the same thing, or you can try a different animal, or you can try completely different shapes or whatever. Like, just go for it, and then, you know, we're happy to kind of see what you guys come up with as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you all so much. That was a short one.
Hope you guys take away something from it.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, so if you guys have any more questions at all, no, then we would basically end it here. But yeah, thank you so much, you all. You guys are great.
Yeah, thank you guys so much.
Yeah, so we'll upload this and we will also share this file again, but we do have the other working file inside the tofu assets. you can also get it there, but this is kind of a more broken down version. So
Yeah, we'll share this with you guys.
yeah. All right. Thank you
Alright.
so much. Have a good weekend, you all.
Happy
and
Friday.
Yeah, happy Friday. Happy Friday.